Second, after the Principal Act 26 of 1972 was amended as above, several will petitions were filed in the High Court of Punjab and Haryana challenging the wires of some of the provisions of the Act. Since the Principal Act as well as the Amending Act 17 of 1976 had been pulled in ninth schedule, the challenge was based on the ground that those provisions were vague, uncertain, ambiguous, and mutually inconsistent, and therefore should be struck down, and neither Article 31A nor Article 31B of the Constitution could save such provisions. The High Court rejected the plea and, in our view, rightly on the ground that a statute enacted law, a legislature foiling within its competence which did not offend any fundamental rights guaranteed by Part 3 of the Constitution and which did not contravene any other provision of the Constitution could not be declared ultra vires either on the ground that its provisions were vague or uncertain or ambiguous or mutually inconsistent. The court pointed out that unlike the American Constitution, there was no due process clause in our Constitution, and therefore Indian courts could not declare a statute invalid on the ground that it contained vague, uncertain, ambiguous, or mutually inconsistent provisions, and that it was the duty and function of the Indian court in relation to each forensic situation to examine the law of the law, the context in which it was made, to discover the intention of the legislature, and to interpret the law, to make effective and not to frustrate the legislative intent, and in that behalf it could always call in aid well known canons of interpretation, and even where the provisions of a statute appear to be mutually inconsistent, there were several well-known rules of interpretation to guide the court in giving a proper meaning to the provisions of a statute, such as the rule of harmonious construction, the rule that special shall prevail over the general, etc. After negativing the main plea, the court went on to examine the concerned provisions which were said to be vague or uncertain and mutually inconsistent, and came to the conclusion that certain expressions which were said to be vague were not so vague but had definite import and connotation, and that apparently inconsistent provisions were not irrecognizable, and all of them fitted well into the general scheme of the Act. The only provision in respect of which relief was guaranteed by the court was Section 20A, which barred the appearance of any legal practitioner before any official of authority other than the Financial Commissioner in proceedings under the Act, and the court took the view that Such a provision was repugnant to Section 14 of the Indian Bar Council's Act, which had continued in force in view Section 30 of the Advocates Act not having come into force and therefore invalid. Subject to holding Section 20A of the Act to be ultra vires and therefore issuing a direction to the state not to enforce the said provision and subject to giving some further directions in the matter of filing declarations etc. before the authorities under the Act, the court dismissed all the writ petitions. In these appeals, the appellants have challenged some of the provisions of the Act on grounds substantially different from those that were urged before the High Court.